there's part of me that wish we could have gone another 6 months of backstory about what happened there. Like, what...
I think we'll get some more.
Oh, I'm sure we will. Especially because of the child. But...
Yeah, but we never see those kids.
Well, yeah.
That's what's so weird, because they did that episode, and then they went hardcore into Rowan, and they needed to, but at the same time, like, I feel like Rowan is taking over everything right now. And Rowan and now Jake, they're, like, taking over everything, and they're one interesting piece, but, like, there's other things that I want to watch.
I mean, I just feel like they don't trot those kids out because it's much more romantic. No, but I'm saying I feel like it's much more romantic to think about Fitz and Olivia running away together when you forget the fact that he has 3 kids with another woman.
Well, he clearly forgot the fact that he has 3 kids. They're in boarding school.
Yes.
He basically doesn't have children except for the baby that lives in the house.
Right. So
also,
I think they kind of keep them off screen because, you know, if you had to deal with if you had to deal with this kind of stuff, that's not romantic. That's kind of just a skeezy father who's being selfish.
Sure.
But no, I mean, I liked, as uncomfortable as it was to watch, I was really fascinated and intrigued and horrified by the Mama Pope gnawing off her wrist, and the Quinn and Huck scenes were so physically uncomfortable to watch in all the best ways because it was what it was supposed to be, but it was just like when you see people who you understand this is who Huck is, this is what Huck does. He's protecting Olivia, right or wrong, especially in the moments before you learn that he's willing to do things differently. I mean, it's just, it was a really, we see how dark these characters are, and I wonder how dark they can be let to go, because we see them keeping down this path of darkness.
I don't really think like there is anything darker for Huck.
I mean,
like the fact that I think that we saw as dark as he could go, and I think now he's turning around. Like, I think that's
maybe.
I think Quinn is helping him, as weird as that is, turn around. I mean, he could have
killed her.
Well, he could have I mean, even just the simple fact that he was starting with teeth instead of like fingers and toes and things that people could see. Like, he doesn't extend that courtesy to anybody. Like,
no. I mean,
she humanized him, and then he felt betrayed, but he still cared about her. And it's that like weird area of now inside I feel uncomfortable, but this is what I have to do. But now I don't want to make myself uncomfortable. So,
and there's still the wild card of his wife and kid.
Right, and the fact that he acknowledged that he thinks he has one, and like, what can we do about that? But even that took a back seat, you know.
Yeah.
And it had to, but those are the things that I want to get back into when the new year happens.
I mean, I doubt we will, though, only because
I know everything else is so big.
And it's also because there's 18 episodes this year now, and we only have a handful of hours left.
But they do so much in so
I know, and
time.
that is something that's
so.
There's no other show like this on TV in the sense that now if you talk to someone about an episode, you can literally only talk to them about that episode, because what you go in knowing in the first 2-3 minutes could be so drastically different by the last 10 that you can really only gear it to an episode or two at a time. Because I mean, you see those like little log lines, and there's
nothing in there because they can't tell you anything because everything is a spoiler.
I was laughing out loud because even though the log line I think came out for the mid-season finale came out after the previous episode, it's something like people have to live with the consequences of their choices. I'm like, that could literally apply to every single show in the history of the world.
But that's the thing, like,
except for maybe the
now
robot
that
shows.
now that her mother's in the wind, and I'm hoping that becomes background and they can start to focus on these other
she's
things.
in Washington D.C. I don't think that's gonna.
But she doesn't know that.
No,
we know that.
I feel like,
but I mean, like they're looking for her, but then Olivia still has to deal with other things. You know what I mean? There's other cases to come down the pike. There's other issues in the firm. I really was hoping Josie would stick around. I like Josie. Lisa Kudrow, hello.
Oh, yeah.
I loved that.
I
was like, yes, please. Your rant to James about...
Amazing.
That was amazing. But, like, just the idea of, Olivia choosing her basically over Fitz, and, the fact that I like the idea of fighting for this female politician, because anybody but Sally... forget that. I mean, like, that's the best thing I've ever seen her do.
That was amazing.
Because it was a human moment.
That was
nothing
amazing.
else that she does is ever, it's all calculated, and it's all, like, very, don't get offended, but very, like, waspy, like, rich, waspy, like Emily Gilmore, like, all for appearances. So... maybe the next thing we're going to do is talk about all the old TV that Marissa needs to watch that she never watched. Because anyway, those were our report cards. I'm sorry. No, keep going. That was like 20 minutes, but we can keep going.
I was going to say, I really have been impressed with Joe Morton this season.
Yes.
Because I think my favorite, aside from the, there's been great moments, but I think my favorite moment of the season and what sticks out to me when I was thinking about the report card was him tearing down Fitz and telling him, you are a boy. Mm-hmm. I wanted to stand up off my couch and applaud. Because, look, I like watching Fitz. I think Fitz is an interesting person to watch. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily like him as a character because I think he's just as messed up as most of them are, but I think he's a little bit less redeemable than a lot of the other characters. Okay. But to hear Papa Pope just lay it out and be like, okay, you're getting upset about this, and that. And look, Fitz has had truly traumatic shit, and if he learned that his father raped his wife,
well, that's the thing. I feel like he's not redeeming as he is now, but I feel like if he really knew, like, he's been protected a lot, right. I feel like he would be a totally different character. I feel like she's less redeeming because of the secret she kept. If she had told him, I don't think he would have put his career ahead of her. I think he would have said, we need to go to the, have him arrested, and who cares what it does to my political career.
It could have. I thought it might break him.
Well, I think as a man, but I don't think he would have said, like, no, my career comes first. You shut up, lady.
But I think he would have broken him as a man, and then who knows?
Yes, but I think it broke her in a different way.
Oh yeah. So I think she made that sacrifice.
Potatoes and
no, but
apples and orange. I don't know what the analogy is.
It's close enough. It was really interesting to be able to see him, even though he had none of the power in theory because he was being held against his will. He was still able to say, you know what, you have your problems. They're nothing. I have worked for every single thing I've gotten. I have made this, and where you've ridden on your daddy's coattails. And to be fair, does he know about the election being rigged?
I feel like he should. If
I feel like he should.
B316.
But that's never been explicitly said.
No, it hasn't. And I also think that, like, it's also, I think, he wasn't in a physical position of power because he was being held, but I mean, he does know. I think he does know a lot because he was always above Fitz anyway in that position. So I think that, like, he was able to say a lot of those things to him because he knew he had more power than Fitz knew he had. So I would imagine he does know.
I would imagine.
But Fitz knows now too. So, like, it's a little move, but
but he would know that it's not a deserved win.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That this is. You would think that if he knew, he would have used that against him in that tirade. Been like, you didn't even earn your presidency.
But you can't hurt Fitz with that because Fitz already knows.
No, but I don't know. But he knows what it's him basically riding on his father's coattails. That's not a secret either.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I don't know either. But it was a good, I think, weirdly enough, I think humanizing moment for Fitz because it kind of put into focus, like, you need to now take control of your life. You need to stop being a pawn in everyone else's game because no matter what he says he's going to do these things, very rarely does he actually follow through. He ends up doing what everyone else says is right or what he thinks he should do. He needs to actually take accountability for his actions, and I kind of was hoping that will spur him forward. But yes, I love Scandal. It makes me happy. It's crazy, and it's delightful. And now I'm finished talking.
Okay. Well, those were our report cards. And then next we're going to do some fun little categories of our favorite
moments.
I was going to say fill in the blanks to make them come back and watch it later. So
it's not actually moments.
Come back and watch it. It'll be fun. Danielle at Danielle TBD.
Marisa at Marisa Rothman. Bye, guys.